She just baked you some cookies and pinched your cheeks and now you feel good. That's just the goddamn truth. You ladies know what I'm talking about. And gentlemen, you ladies and... Oh, I got hiccups. And I would say that is a look. Hey pals, how's it going? Today I'm just gonna do like a chatty get ready with me and just kind of warm up to this because I've never done this before. So I have already prepped my skin. I've been using the Fresh Rose Moisturizer lately. I don't typically go for something this heavy, but my skin's been kind of dry going into winter, so that's been my jam lately. Otherwise, I usually use the Kale and Spinach Green Tea Hyaluronic Moisturizer, which is by Youth to the People. Youth to the People. And that was just a little bit lighter weight. I do naturally have like an oily combo skin. So let's get started. I don't think I'm going to do anything too heavy on the skin. I think I'm going to go for like just a evening of my skin today. I'm going to use, let's see. Oh.
Lately I've been using the NARS Longwear Natural Radiant Foundation. I love the way this looks on the skin. I feel like it looks really airbrushed and it does have a nice natural glow to it. But I do like mixing it with Laura Mercier's Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Foundation. This stays on a little bit better. I do find that this one can break up a little bit throughout the day. It still looks pretty, but if you look really, really close, you see it kind of breaking up, especially because I'm so oily. Whereas the Laura Mercier one, this one's like, girl, you're laid all day long, it's not moving. These two together, really, really good. And I'm just going to go ahead and mix probably like a pump and a half of each. I did put a teeny bit of Too Faced Hangover Primer on my hand. I like to mix a little bit of primer with my foundations when I'm going for a natural look because it shears it out a little bit, but it also gives you a little extra hydration during this time of year. And I just think that it just makes the foundation look even more skin-like. And I like to mix it on the back of my hand and then I'll literally just kind of dot it all over my skin.
Now, obviously, if you're using a foundation that dries quickly, this probably isn't the best way to do it because it's going to dry on you before you can even blend it out. But because I've added primer in there, it's going to give it quite a bit of slip. I'm just using a nice flat top brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and blend out. I'm just blending out. Don't forget your neck. Nobody wants to be that bitch. I kind of do like a stipple pulling type of a motion. I stipple and like, but in circles. So I guess it's kind of like a stippling buffing motion. I don't know. I don't really think about it. I just kind of like beat my face with the brush until I have a new face. So for me, I tend to like my forehead's pretty clear, so I don't really put a ton of foundation on my forehead. I'll just kind of let it like use whatever's left on the brush and just let my forehead kind of sit. And then I have to put less bronzer on my forehead, so it just kind of works out. So, let's jump in and do some concealer.
I'm just going to go ahead and brighten up my under eyes. I'm mixing my concealers again. I'm using Makeup Forever's Ultra HD Concealer. I think they've updated this concealer, but this is the old packaging if they have. Love this. Super, super natural. It's just beautiful and it sits really well on the skin. The color right now is kind of like exactly my skin tone though, so I'm mixing a teensy bit of the Tarte Shape Tape. Everybody knows it, everybody loves it.
I don't love it, but you don't have to at me. We don't have to get into that right now.
So I'll take a little bit of that and just pop that under my eye. I don't do like the whole freaking triangle thing. I kind of work in a triangular motion as you can see, but I don't go super heavy. And
I just find for me, I have a lot of like fine lines under my eyes, and if I put too much concealer under there, it's gonna just cake up and then my lines are gonna be even more defined, and I don't need all of that. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. So I actually am just gonna dot it directly under my eye. It's actually usually how I do it. I feel like I'm bugging a little bit because I don't usually film myself, so I'm like, how do I even do my makeup? But I usually do apply it directly to my under eye and then kind of blend most of my product out to the corner. You can see I'm kind of taking it to my cheekbone to give me some shape, if that makes sense. And then whatever's left, I'll just blend down the bridge of the nose. So it's still following that typical triangle shape. I just don't go and like paint a full triangle on there.
So I'm just using that Makeup Forever concealer that I was using under my eye. Same process, I'm just kind of tapping that product out.
And for me, this will also be my priming step. I do typically use an eyeshadow primer if I'm going to be wearing my look for a while. Like if I'm doing my makeup, say at 8 a.m. or 6 a.m., whenever, and I'm going to have that look on until like 8 p.m. and I've got a long day of hustle and bustle, like I'm going to use a primer on my face, I'm going to use a primer on my eyes, and I'm going to lock that shit down. But I'm not doing much today, so I don't need to be doing all that. We could take shortcuts. Who says we can't take shortcuts in life? Not me. No way. No way. So, I don't do cream contouring or cream highlighting or any of that. You can if that's what you're into, but for me, one, like I said, I don't want all those layers on my face. Two, I'm oily as shit. I don't need all that cream happening. It's just gonna create a whole like mudslide on my skin. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and start setting my face. I always set my under eye directly after doing my concealer because I feel like the more you spend time looking around and all that stuff, the more your concealer is gonna wanna budge. And I already have lines under my eyes. Like I don't need help with that. I'm just gonna take a little bit of my setting powder. And you know what? I'm spending too long talking, so I'm gonna blend my concealer out one more time. And then immediately, without even looking down, I'm gonna go in there. You might get some in your eyes, it's okay. I'm just pressing that directly under my eye, and in that same shape that I was blending my concealer, but I always make sure I start right where I have the most fine lines, because that's gonna lock that in. And then you won't have to worry about it continuing to want to like move up on you. At this point, if you want to like bake your under eye, this is kind of the time that you would do that. Again, I don't believe in all of that. I mean, you bake if you want to bake, but I'll whip it up in the kitchen. Like we don't need to be baking on my face. And then I'm going to go ahead and just set the rest of my skin. For that, I am going to use the Laura Mercier setting powder. Everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. She looks like this. We stand, it's just good. I don't go crazy, I just want to take down the moisture of the foundation that I've put on. And also, this is going to make my foundation transfer resistant, that way if I now go in and touch my skin, it's not just going to come right off. Now go ahead and we can do, you know, the bronzing, contouring, all of that fun stuff, and actually start building shape on the face. I'm going to throw my hair up for this part, because we're about to get into the nitty gritty, and I can't be bothered. I like to start with my bronzer and kind of work up from there. Some people do their contour and then their bronzer, whatnot. I think that's your personal preference. I think you do it how you like to do it. But for me, I definitely think doing my bronzer first just gives me an idea of what kind of face look I'm going for, if that makes sense. So I always start right above my natural cheekbones. I always start back by my ear where I want it the darkest and blend outward from there. So right here and then blending out and up to bring the face kind of like a C shape, you know what I'm saying. I like to go little by little because then it really gives me control over the final product. Generally when you're contouring, you're kind of forming a 3 on the sides of the face. So if you'll notice, I'm kind of doing that same thing with my bronzer. So really focusing it right in here where I want to kind of suck it in. Right on the edges of my forehead. And of course, I always do right under my chin because, I mean, we love French fries in this house. And again, I'm working in gentle circular motions. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like barely touching my skin. The more pressure you're applying with your brush, the more you're going to get this streaking happening. So holding my brush really far, which helps me control the pressure. If I'm holding it like this, like a pencil, I'm going to be like scrubbing my skin. I don't want to do that. So way back and just gentle circular motions on the skin. Yeah, that's pretty good. Like I said, I'm not going for anything crazy. I just want a little bit of shape in the skin. I feel like I naturally have kind of a baby face, so I need a little bit of that chisel. And then I always bronze my nose. I do like it to look a little bit more shapely. So I just hit the sides and then I get right under it, and it kind of gives it the illusion of like more of a point at the end. There are days where I'll just bronze and leave that as that because I don't always think contouring is necessary, but for the sake of the video, why not? I'm going to use my Anastasia contour. Oh my gosh, I didn't even tell you what bronzer I was using. I was using the Bahama Mama bronzer. I love this bronzer. I've used it for years and years and years. It's just like a touch of sun on the skin. I think it's so pretty.
So I'm going to go in with my contour kit. I'm touching into these two shades here. This is the main shade that I'm going to use, but it's not quite as dark as I'd like my contour shade to be, so I'm using that with a teeny bit of this one.
And then I'm just going to kind of define the areas that I've just bronzed. But you don't want to take it further than the arch of your brow, or you're going to start to get that kind of Joker smile. And if that's what you're going for, then that's it. But if that's not what you're going for and Halloween's over, then that's it.
So we're just kind of deepening the bit of contouring that we've done.
Do blush and highlight way quicker than bronzer. I feel like bronzer, because you want to build it up. It takes a minute. You got to get the shape going. Blush and highlight is just like, all right, frost me like a donut and give me some color in my skin, and that's all I need in my life. One of my favorite highlighters are the Bobbi Brown highlighting powders. They are so beautiful. They look like just like wet skin. This one in particular is the like pink glow, and it's got like a pink and a white, and it's so beautiful. It just looks like a natural wet sheen on the skin, and I love it. And then I do also love the Amrezy Anastasia highlighter. This was a limited edition product, but I love the way it looks.
And I'm just going to touch the tops of my cheeks. And I'm also going to do it like in a C shape. So, and I always get right above the brow because it brings your brow bone forward a little bit.
No, I don't go crazy with my highlight because I naturally am oily, so in like an hour I'll have a natural glow already. But I mean, highlighter's just fun. And then I'll go ahead and get under my brow bone. This I love a good highlighted underbrow. I love a good highlight. And then I always highlight my Cupid's bow. Love that. And I just think once you do once you have lip color on and stuff, it just looks really pretty. And then I just hit the tip of my nose and right in between. I don't know why I do that because my nose really does get really oily, but I just like the way it looks. And then once I get oily, that's my own problem. So now we've got a nice sheen happening, a nice glow. We're here for it. And now I'm going to do my blush. Blush is important because I definitely think that like you need color in the skin, especially if you are wearing a foundation. Like you've taken all of your natural color out of your face to even it out. So you have to add that color back in or you're going to look dead. Like you're going to look like you were buried 6 weeks ago. So I'm taking a little bit of blush and I just hit right where my bronzer and my highlighter are meeting. So I use my blush to kind of blur the lines between the color that I've just put on my cheeks. And you can see it just brings you to life. It makes you feel like you just came from grandma's house. Like she just baked you some cookies and pinched your cheeks and now you feel good.
And I always hit all that bounce. So I always add a little bit of blush on my forehead, a little bit on my nose, and a little on the chin too.
So this is what I would call like my everyday kind of natural complexion routine. I really don't do much else than this. I'll do some setting spray, and on certain days I'll go a little bit more intense, but on an everyday basis, like just a little foundation, concealer, blush, bronzer, highlight, I'm happy with that. I don't need to go ham. So, the hairs on my face, between my brows and my mascara, they're easily the longest parts of my routine, and they're the ones that I'm the most picky about, and consequently the ones I get asked about the most often. So,
Generally, I lately have just been using like eyeshadow and stuff on my eyebrows. They're pretty grown in a way that I don't mind right now, so I don't feel like I need to do a whole ton. Like, say I have like a long day and I'm going to be wearing makeup for a while and I'm going for that full face, I will use my Anastasia Dip Brow. Love this stuff, holy grail. I use the shade medium brown. But on a day-to-day basis, I don't need like that bold statement brow. I just want like a nice full looking brow, nothing too crazy. So I really like the Foolproof that brow powder from Benefit. I think Benefit makes some really great brow products. It comes with this little funky brush. It's like this little sponge applicator, and it's got a spoolie built in. And it's meant to be applied with this, so I usually will start with this and do like the chunk of my brow, and then I'll go in with a more detailed like angled brush and really like get into the nitty gritty. So the way it's meant to be done is you're supposed to use the darker color, do the outer portion, and then use the lighter color, do the inner portion. I kind of just like go like this and go right in between. There's no rules. And then they say to go backwards on the hairs, and I think it makes the color stick a little bit better, so that's how I do it. I just kind of backtrack across my brow, turn it into a nightmare, make it look nice and windblown. And, I mean, that looks crazy, but now if I go ahead and brush it, you can see it just gives you like a nice build of color. Don't mind me, this is when I'm going to start making weird faces in the mirror. You know, you gotta like put your brows in different positions so you can see really what they look like. I'm a very animated talker too, so I always gotta see like, well, when I'm upset, how my brows gonna look, and then when I'm hyped, what my brows gonna look like. I don't know.
and around that's about what I'll do with this tool that they give you, which is really nice because I mean, doing that much with a precision brush would have taken a lot longer. So I'll kind of get it to this point, do the other one, and then I'll go in and really like start sketching out. Oh my god, I almost just dipped into this fucking palette with this brow brush. Girl. Let's do a neon brow today. I think it's really efficient in just like getting the color on there. And I know for me, I will always go in and do some precise detailing afterwards anyway. And if you're wondering like how I know like how far out to go or whatever it is, I learned this trick at a very young age. If you don't know what that is, it's you line up, you know, something straight with your nose. Right about here is where your brow should start. If you're going straight from your nostril, going through the center of your eye is about where your arch should be, and then going right to the edge of your eye is about where your brow should stop. So I kind of use that as a base, and then, you know, some days they're longer, some days they're thinner. It's not the same every day, but just to give you an idea if you're curious, you know, like how to get your brow shape, how to know what brow shape is going to be flattering on you. Which I think it's different for everybody. I think, you know, some people like a thinner brow, some people like a thicker brow, some people want them, you know, barely there, some people want them really defined. I like kind of a defined brow myself. I was definitely, like, as a teen, I definitely had pretty bushy brows, and then junior prom came, and like half of the world, I plucked my brows to the almighty gods, and they just never were as beautiful and big and bushy ever again, and I'm still suffering for that to this day. So, now I have to put them on manually. Trying not to cover my face with this mirror because I really, like, when I'm really doing my makeup, I'm in the mirror like this, bitch. I'm like, I need to see it with a magnifying glass.
I need to see it with a magnifying glass.
Then I will also go in, which I feel like most people do this nowadays, and I do just highlight with some concealer under my brow in case, you know, my line isn't super crisp or anything like that. I'll take a nice flat top concealer brush with the teенsiest bit of concealer. When I don't have makeup on, I just take like a slightly damp brush and just like wipe it because I don't have anything on for it to, you know, move, but and that just kind of just crispens up the edges a little bit. It puts my mind at ease. It makes me feel just laid and, well, maybe laid isn't what I'm looking for. You know, like how you lay your edges, like my brows are laid. You know what I'm talking about. Welcome back. So the camera started dying, so I went ahead and just did one of my eyes off film. So now I'll go ahead and show you how I went from this to this. So first shade I'm going to dip into, I'm going to be using the Soft Glam palette from Anastasia. Looks like this. Really good if you're somebody who just works with a lot of neutral shades. So I'm going to be going in with Orange Soda first.
So, I'm going to take that on just a nice big fluffy crease blending brush. This isn't a precision brush or anything, this is just going to get the color kind of all over my crease base. So, I'm going to go in. And I'm just starting close to the lid and slowly working up towards the brow. And again, you want to be using that same technique that I was talking about when I was doing my complexion. You really want to be holding the brush far away so that you don't have a lot of pressure, so you're able to blend the color out really seamlessly without getting streaks and stuff like that. So again, starting close to my lid and working up towards the brow. For me, I really like my shadows to be blown up almost to my eyebrow. You don't have to do it like that. If you're somebody who like it a little bit more compact and a little bit more just like defined, I should say, then go for it. But I like my shadows to be really, really blown out.
I'm going to jump into the Too Faced Peach palette. Mine is nice and banged up looking. And I'm going to use the shade right here, which is called Candied Peach. Love this color. I think it's such a pretty like coral tone. I know a lot of people would maybe consider it more like a summertime, springtime color, but for me, I'm like, give it to me year round. Like I'm into it.
So I'm going to go in with the Featherweight crease brush. This one's a little bit smaller of a crease brush, so this is going to give me a little bit more definition and kind of like direct placement of the color versus the other one that was just kind of covering the lid. So here I'm going to start right in the outer corner.
You'll notice I'm trying to create the illusion of more lid space. So instead of going directly into my, like right where my crease begins, I'm kind of going right above that so that I can create the illusion of a different shape to my eye. I can go more in depth on that at a different, you know, in a different video if you want to know more about, you know, how to shape the eyes and stuff like that. But for today, I'm really just, you know, just taking that same brush I was using with Orange Soda, and I'm just buffing out that coral color. I don't know, I just want to make sure there's no harsh lines and everything is seamless. Alright, and of course I'm just comparing, making sure my eyes look about the same. Looks good to me. So next what I did, I took, again in that Sweet Peach palette, I'm going in with Bless Her Heart. It's this really, really pretty like olivey green color. This is a color that I don't see a lot of people touching in this palette, and I think it is such a gorgeous color, and it's really unique because I don't see a lot of palettes with this type of a tone. And I'm taking that just under my eye. So right under the eye, and I'm going to buff that out from almost all the way to my inner corner. I don't bring it directly to the inner corner because I feel like that starts to close up the eye. So I take it about like 2/3 of the way in. You don't need to always do shadow under the eye. I'm not somebody who wears eyeliner. I really, really rarely will put liner on. I feel like it makes my eyes look smaller, especially like, I don't mind liner on my top lid, but especially in the waterline area, I never, ever, ever wear it. You know, if I'm doing a smoky eye or something and I want that kind of like sexy smoldering look, sure, but on a day-to-day basis, I just can't be bothered. So I think shadow under the eye is a really pretty way to define the eye without it being too crazy. If doing something like this makes you nervous or you don't like the way it looks, you go right ahead and skip it, but I fuck with it. It's my vision. So I also did take a little bit of that Bless My Heart color, and I just went right in the corner of my eye with it. Kind of like I wanted to start my wing liner. I'm just taking the shade Luscious, this really, really pretty kind of, I think think of it as kind of like a sandy taupe color. I don't know, I think it's so gorgeous though.
I just put my finger, I'm gonna tap this right. I'm gonna tap this right on my lid. You can use a brush for this, but you know, I got a tool right on my hand, so I'm gonna use it. And just gonna use all over the lid. And then I'm actually gonna go in the brush, just so I can get it a little bit more precise.
And get the inner corners. Mostly because I have chubby fingers and I can't fit my finger in there. And then just kind of meet where that green is without actually going over the green. And I do also take this just above my lid, ever so slightly into my crease. So if you can see, it's like right where my fold is on my eye. I'm getting it there too, because it'll then again create the illusion that my eyes are a little bit bigger than they are, and that my crease is a little bit smaller than it is. It just opens the eyes up really nicely. Next thing I'm going to do is just line my eyes, or do my top liner, like this little wing action that I have on this side. You can use any liner brush you want. I just like these types of brushes because they're really, really easy for me to work with. And I'm dipping into the shade Tempting, which is this really, really nice, deep, deep brown green. So I'm going to dip right in there. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and line my eyes with that. So I'm just starting around the center of my eye and dragging the color out to meet where that other green is. And again, you can use regular eyeliner for this. You don't have to use an eyeshadow. I love using anything but eyeliner to line my eyes. I don't know why. I'll use liquid lipstick, I'll use eyeshadow, whatever. But I think you have more colors that way, and I think it looks a little bit softer. So then you've got like a nice little eyeliner happening there. And now I'm just going to perfect that wing. So again, I'm wetting my brush. You don't want it like dripping wet. You just want your brush damp so that you can get a really crisp line with the eyeshadow.
So, I'm just gonna kind of take a look at what that wing is looking like. And then we'll go up here. And just try to mimic. And that's the same.
I feel pretty good about that. I will not be caught dead with makeup on my face without an inner corner highlight. Like, if I'm putting on mascara, I'm gonna highlight that inner corner. I feel like it brings me to life, and that's just the goddamn truth. So I'm taking a little bit of the shade Nectar, which is just this nice light kind of golden luminescent color.
I like to use this big fluffy brush to highlight my inner corner. This could also be good for like spot highlighting on the cheeks, but I don't really do that, so I just take this, pop that color all over, and I use it to kind of meet underneath. And then I also will then go in with a more precise brush and really just make it shine in that the main spot of the inner corner, like right here. But the reason I do it with this brush first is because then it automatically kind of blows the color out instead of just having a dot of shining color in your inner corner. You get like a nice just brightness, and then you can get the intensity with a smaller brush.
That's definitely an extra step. You don't gotta be doing all that. I'm just an extra type of bitch. So that's really all I did with my eyeshadow. Just gonna do my eyelashes. First step, I'm gonna curl my eyelashes.
I always curl my eyelashes. I feel like this is something people either do every single time or never ever use a curler. I have curly hair, so if I don't curl my eyelashes, they're just going like down or straight out or whatever. I also feel like it helps just open your eye up. Like, yeah, bring those hairs out of my eyeball and shoot them up to the sky. So, curl my lashes. I'm right now using the Super Fan Mascara by Smashbox. To be honest, I bought like 3 of these when it came out, so I don't even know if they make it anymore. But I love this mascara. I think it gives a really pretty defined lash look, but it doesn't get too clumpy. So I'm just going to go right in, give it a little wiggle at the root. And then I also do like go over the tops of my eyelashes. I've noticed a lot of people don't do that. But I think it builds up the mascara way better than say like if you just keep going from underneath, then you're going to get like a clumpiness happening. Whereas like coating it from both sides, you almost get like, you get a true coating of mascara around your lashes instead of just a bunch of mascara on the bottom half. And then like only having it on the bottom is going to start to pull your lashes down. It's just, I don't know. I could do a whole video on mascara and lashes because, you know, I'm sure I'm going to edit this, but I spend probably 10 to 15 minutes doing my mascara.
I really like a false lash look without wearing false lashes. I really am not a falsies type of girl. I've never been. I don't like the way they feel. Who wants something glued on their eyeball? Like, I just don't like them. So for me, if I can get my lashes to look full and fake and beautiful without glue, then that's what I'm gonna do. about to go in and do my next step, which is the step that everybody calls me crazy for, but I am the level of extra that I have a special pair of tweezers that I specifically use for tweezing my mascara after I've done my lashes. So what I do is I will go in, and any spots that look like a little bit clumpy or funky to me, I'll just kind of straighten them out. So I like am gently squeezing to group lashes together. So like, you know, say if I have like a spot where I have like a gap in my lashes, I'll take a lash and clump it with another one so that it fills that space. I don't play with any gaps in the lashes. Now, I don't know if you as the viewer can see the difference between when I started tweezing them and what they look like now, but I feel like for me, I just think it really emphasizes that false lash effect where you really get like I don't know if the camera can really capture, like it just gives them that like, I don't know, I just think they look so much better after just a little bit of love and tweezing. So now I'm going to go ahead and just do my bottom lashes.
The bottoms I'm not quite as picky about. I really just like will run the mascara one over them. And I still don't like them clumpy, so if they get clumpy I will go in with my tweezers, but I usually don't really have to tweeze my lower lashes.
I feel like I just did my lower lashes in like 2 seconds. That never happens. I'll spend a whole 20 minutes doing one eye, and then I did that one in like no time. I feel pretty proud of myself. Anyway, that's how I do my lashes, like a crazy person.
What do you think, babe? Should I just do like a pinky rosy lip, or should I do like a brown?
I know what I'm gonna do. You ladies know what I'm talking, and gentlemen, you ladies and oh, I got hiccups. I'm gonna line my lips with the NARS Papua P-A-P-U-A lip liner.
I don't like fully filled mouths. I just do the line, and then you'll notice I also do an X through my cupid's bow, and a line straight down from top to bottom gives you the illusion of like a fuller lip by drawing attention to the center of your lips. I just use a lip primer that is the Stila, what's it actually called? Lush Lips Water Plumping Primer. It's a really, really nice liquid lip primer because it feels so hydrating, but it also gives your lips like a little bit of tackiness, so your liquid lip stays on really nicely without having that like really dry, uncomfortable feeling that liquid lips tend to get. And I'm going to be using the shade Bittersweet from Anastasia. It's a really, really pretty, like, fall brick brown.
And what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna fully like go around and line my lips with this because I'm actually gonna diffuse the color. I don't really want like a dark, dark, vampy lip going. I just want a nice fall brown, which is why I lined my lips. I wouldn't usually line my lips if I was gonna wear a lip liner or a liquid lipstick.
And then, just for funsies, because I kind of want to wear a lip gloss, but I don't really want to put a gloss on, I'm going to take a little extra of that Stila lip lip primer, and just go over top of my liquid lip. And that just gives it a little bit of slip.
I'm gonna use just Urban Decay's All Nighter. This is a travel size. We love a good dousing of setting spray. Nothing makes a bitch feel more hydrated after spending 2 hours on her makeup. Whew! Yeah. And I would say that is a look. What do you think, babe?
I think we can say this look can be considered served.
We served them a look. Let me take my hair down. Let's see. So, yeah, I wouldn't, this was supposed to be like like my go-to natural whatever look, and I don't know, I just kind of started going, so this is what we ended up with. But yeah, that was my chatty little get ready with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your feedback. If you have any questions or any ideas for videos that you guys would want to see, definitely just leave them in the comment section. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and if it's almost the weekend, then you have an amazing weekend too. And I'll see you guys next time.